Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Reboot. I'm your host, Jed Thian. This is another ram raid through Hong Kong rugby. We've had round 4, but we've got to thank round 3 for setting this one up. You might recall Hong Kong Scottish giving Valley an absolute clobbering down on Happy Valley 6, or the Houdini. That club pulled out at the football club as Kowloon came after them. Well, we thought it was game over for club. Think again. And then, over at Kings Park, the Tigers, a win to the men in amber and black. Round 4, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I'm shivering just thinking about it. Or am I just thinking about my first guest, Richard Cooke?
Hello, Jed. How's things with you?
I'm very well. I'm excited because I've actually got past the excitement of round 4. It came out of nowhere. It surprised me and has left me feeling, well, a little bit shaky.
Well, I've got to say, game 1 of the day up there at Kings Park, everybody was excited and the teams delivered without a doubt and really got the day off to a cracking start.
Well, a cracking start and cracking weather too, but I digress. Let's leap into the tape, my friend, because this game started out a round of absolute action.
Really good line out off the top from Gadsby. Sam Choi, this young Chinese lad who got his Hong Kong debut last year. Boy, he's put some timber on, makes a really good carry. And then Gadsby carries it up and loses the ball somewhere in the contact in the dark arts at the bottom there. Sandy Bay come away with it. Van der Schmidt gets busy. Slayton then rips the ball across and Kruger gets slightly on the outside. Curry, quick hands. Rousseau down the wing. And because Kowloon have been dented, a little bit of skullduggery there on the ground. And it's an early penalty. And Ewan Phillips steps up. But sadly, she slides wide. But a lot of intent from Sandy Bay early on there.
Right, Cookie. So Sandy Bay away to a front foot start. Kowloon, you know, they were shaky against club early last week. Was this the sort of thing that continued?
Yeah, I think so. So straight from the 22 after the kick, Sandy Bay get the ball and they attack down the right edge, give it a go. And as you say, the first up tackling from Kowloon was pretty poor. Davey steps through, does really well, swats a couple off. Jack Neves gets in. Zach Cinnamon looks after the ball. Penalty advantage. Slayton pulls the trigger. Out to Van der Schmidt, who just glides around the outside, draws the last man. Dean Rousseau in. Easy. First try. And there's only a few minutes on the scoreboard.
Well, that's why he was player of the season last year, Luke Van der Schmidt. He's got the power, but he's got the touch as well.
Absolutely. It was good to see him do something deft like that rather than just bullock it straight up. But he stepped off his left, got round the outside, and Charlie Hickson-Smith was left with 2 men coming at him. Took Van der Schmidt, but Van der Schmidt got the ball away to Dean Rousseau.
All right, you beauty, the Bay's away to a beauty. And again, the way this game's setting up, club did this as well. You go on for another try, Cookie.
It was really good to see. So sort of virtually straight from the kickoff, the Bay got given a penalty at a scrum. Yeah, Curry carved off about 40, 50 metres into the 22. Really good throw from post. Davey went up, took a good ball. Slayton, you know, that little general that he is, marshalling it forward and forward. As soon as he gets a penalty advantage, pulls the ball. Kruger makes a dent. He then pulls it back to Jamie Grist, and Lewis Warner gets up, almost makes a brilliant spot tackle, but Grist gets through, spins out, and Davey round the corner and straight over. And Ben Davey, boy, he got through a truckload of work.
2 tries to Sandy Bay, Cookie, and good to see Ben Davey going for one. He's been toiling, that man. Kowloon, were they even a look at getting on the board?
Well, they were definitely reeling. There was only a few minutes gone. Johnston starts off. Pryor nails the kickoff. It's looking really, really good. They pull the ball inside. Hit up by Kruger. This is all looking really regulation. But Sandy Bay trying to play too much. The prop hooker combo in midfield, and she goes awry, and Kowloon pounce on it. And Bryn Phillips takes a little dive there, a little snipe because there's not much else on. And Ben Davey, as we said, getting busy, comes in, gives the penalty away, and immediately gives Harry Johnston the opportunity to take 3 points back, which he does. And I think Brett Wilkinson would have been really pretty angry at that point, having got 2 scores on the board, to give one back so easily and so quickly after the half. And again, Sandy Bay masters their own demise there.
You've mentioned the name Gear Curry already once in the reboot. It's a pleasure to watch him playing. He's starting to approach some good form, Cookie.
He definitely is, and he gets into the action here. Scrummage, Slayton feeds, then Vanderschmidt picks up, and Slayton holds it back. Kruger gets through, an absolute wonder Sunnyville offload out the back of his right hand. Gare Curry goes through. First thing he does is look for where's the support, and then realises I'm on my own, and he just cruised in and put the afterburners on and try. 15-3 Cal to Sandy Bay, and we're looking good.
I see how this goes with Kowloon. First I score a try, then you kick a penalty. Then I score a try and you kick a penalty. Is this how all their games go, Richard?
It would seem so, definitely. They were down at this stage, but definitely not out. Harry Johnston, superb kickoff, absolutely superb. Tom McQueen takes it well, spins to the outside, and Charlie Hickson-Smith absolutely smashes him into touch. And then another good take at the line out by James Cunningham. And they start to get the drive on. And Bryn Phillips there sort of marshalling the troops. They go to the weak side there, goes down. But then Phillips pulls it inside, and we can see the likes of Ewan McLaren, who had a really good game. Tight head, the young Scottish fella. Sam Choi covering up. And James Rees, who's been the physio and strength and conditioning coach, got his first start for Sandy Bay, just grovelling around on the floor there, and gives Johnston that opportunity to carve off another 3 points for the Loon.
Going into half time, there seems to be some sort of spell that's cast upon Kowloon, because the first 40 never seems to be as like the second 40.
No, and I think much the same for Sandy Bay. I think Snedden and Wilkinson would both have been tearing their hair out with their sides. Sandy Bay early ascendancy, Kowloon wrestling it back, and always good to go into the half having just put a score on. So yeah, 15-6 and definitely all on.
Well, as always in the game of rugby union, indiscretion is penalised, and sometimes penalties lead to cards, and sometimes cards lead to 10 minutes off the pitch. Sandy Bay suffered this, Richard. This is the beginning of Kowloon's run.
Yeah, Jamie Sang comes on early in the second half, nails a really good line out, and Charlie Hickson-Smith, he came off his wing all day, as did Chris Kinlock, looking for work in the middle of the paddock. Kowloon, they're driving really hard, putting some dents into the Sandy Bay defence. Lewis Warner gets through, scragged down. Sandy Bay get themselves back into shape, but they're reeling. They're going backwards. They're really under pressure. And referee Shane Barr gives the advantage. Some good interplay there from JC and Jamie Tang. They're going close. They want more than 3 points here, and they come out wide right here. And unfortunately, Jack Neves gets bundled into touch, but the referee takes them back under the sticks. Johnston, he's never going to miss from there. 15-9.
Much as I suspected, Richard, and now Kowloon will really bring the guns to bear as they hone in on a win. I mean, I know how this goes. You might as well take over the show.
Well, at this stage of the game, the Kowloon scrummage really started to get some ascendancy. They straight away get the advantage. Phillips moves the ball. Lewis Warner looks to the outside, gets scragged down by Kruger, but he's already taken a massive amount of ground out of them. This young lad, Choi, again, forces a really good tackle out of Pryor. Now they bring it up, and Todd Bristow, again, makes sure that there's a lot of attention to him. Choi has another go, getting through lots and lots of work. But at this point, the referee decides they're not denting the Bay defensive line, and so it brings it back for the penalty. And this lad, Johnston, he nails it again. 15-12, long way to go. I think they'd say it's all on like Donkey Kong.
Well, the pitter-patter of impending doom, Richard. What will Sandy Bay do? It's interesting. Kowloon, their ability to close the game in the second half is, well, it's becoming legendary.
It was getting fairly sweaty, and Wilkinson went to the bench and brings on Faniatau and Featherston, and immediately gets reward at the scrum, gets the advantage. Brendan Nell with a delicate little chip over the top. Lewis Warner, though, is absolutely the match of it. And the referee goes back, spots the penalty where the scrum was, which was just inside the Sandy Bay half. And so I think everybody in the ground thought that, yeah, the Bay will take some distance, but Carey spots the ball confidently, puts it up in the air, and it was in and hanging for ages. And it was a long time before the AR's flags went up and started to ease a few nerves at Sandy Bay, I think. Great kick, really good kick.
Yeah, remarkable kick by Curry. What can't he do? He can trot them in from 40 out. He can slot them over from 50 out. Was there anybody else in the game playing, Richard?
Well, there were a few others, and we were deep in the Kowloon 22. Jamie Tang puts the ball in. John Kenny rises. Kowloon 11 from 11 at the line out in this game, and looking really good. And they get the ball to the base of this ruck. Phillips boxes it out. Brendan now takes it on the run. Hugh Alexander, great chase. Really still in this game. And Slayton brings it to Famiatown. Strong carry, a quick delivery of the ball. And he goes back down the right-hand side. Alex McQueen to post. Slayton on the inside screaming for it. And poor old Sam Hobbins there. Never, ever going to stop Tom McQueen from that distance. So fourth try, bonus point. And as I say, a real nerve settler for Wilkinson.
Yes, very tidy work by Sandy Bay down the short side, Richard. It's enough to make a defensive coach weep into his cereal in the morning. Tom McQueen. It's a name you don't hear too often scoring tries, but he is a machine. Time now to hear, ladies and gentlemen, from Sandy Bay's Mark Pryor, the MP.
It's just awesome to get the win. 2 out of 2. Credit to the boys. We weren't perfect, but when we asked for energy and we asked for hard work, guys delivered. So pretty stoked.
Very physical game against Sandy Bay. Felt like they brought a lot more to the game than we did in terms of physicality, and just managed to kind of beat us on that front.
Ewan McLaren, they're a conservative figure, a somewhat dour young man, certainly a very good scrummager, Richard, which takes me to the next point I'd like to make. This was a very interesting game. Well done, Sandy Bay. Let me congratulate you. But Kowloon have had a knack for finding a key late in the game. Where are we looking here to find out how it didn't happen for them?
Well, if we go to the stats, Jed, 60-40 possession in favour of Kowloon. It is amazing that Sandy Bay came away with a 4-0 win. Absolutely amazing. And I think this week Wilkinson will be looking at that. They just kept giving the ball back to Kowloon. Defensive line was tight as a drum all the way through, but they then get the ball, play a bit of rugby, and hand it back. Lineouts lost 7 of their own throws, which was poor, and gave away a massive 16 penalties. So lots and lots and lots to work on for Wilkinson and Sandy Bay, but a great defensive performance and great in attack as well.
So what do we say for Kowloon? They've just got to keep going to the temple and doing the hard yards.
I think so. I mean, Stedden's obviously got a lot to work on. I thought the first up tackling, I can't put it any other way. It was poor, and that was what allowed Sandy Bay to get on the front foot, get round the corner, put those tries in the corner. But I don't think Kowloon are too far away from it, as they proved last week, and they were in this game until about 75 minutes. It could have gone either way. So not too much between any of these sides in this Saxo Markets Premiership this year, Jed.
Richard, thank you. You're a intelligent and well-spoken man, and perhaps you could stick around and help us towards the end of the show.
I do what I can.
Come with me, ladies and gentlemen, as we head down to Sokampo for Game 2. And it's Scottish, the Wandering Scottish, taking on the Borelli Walsh USRC Tigers. It's a home game for the Scottish, and they started with some circus tricks early. There's something from Connor Hartley for you all to get ready for. And really, after last weekend's blowout against Valley, Scottish were looking on the up and up. Of course, the Tigers had pinched a few points of their own. There's Gregor McNeish slots one to get the account underway for Scottish. But in a historical count, if you're looking at this from a distance, you would say to yourself, it's Scottish territory. The Tigers do, though, have a different setup, and the whole setup for the Tigers revolves around set piece, and their set pieces are working fairly decently. As you can see here, the takedown on the line looks good. Chipman's got that line out working well, particularly against Scottish on this particular day. Holding at the back. See, this is the kind of work you do when you're pretty confident up front. They're holding together, checking the opposition. Tony Chen lets it rip to Josh Henderson. And all in all, it's looking fairly smooth for the Tigers up front. They are starting to develop as quite a competent unit on attack. And you'll notice 21 there, Tony Chen making it in for Kadu Lee, who was injured earlier in the game. The Tigers return only a few minutes later. Miller off the top beautifully. The show and go. There's Herstich. Now they're starting to get some front foot ball, the Amber and Blacks. And just enough pressure out wide. They earn the penalty. This will continue along, and Josh Henderson will get the crack to open the score for the Tigers. A little bit of jiggery pokery after the ball there, never mind. Look at that, beautiful kicking conditions. Lovely overhead. That's 3 points. It's all even. And it is all even too. Meanwhile, down the other end of the park, the Borelli Walsh USRC Tigers are actually putting together pretty well. Look at that destructive move to clean out the set piece from Scottish. And that sort of confidence meant they could move swiftly down the field and begin knocking on the door of the Scottish line, which they did through Sprigg. And again, Solomona, what a tackle. I mean, they investigated his fingernails after the game. Big fire, they found a flugel binder in there. It's a try disallowed for a double movement. Desperate defence by Scottish. The Tigers, they're not to be outdone. There he is, Chipman, the king of Pukekohe. The sliding door off the back of the line out, and Chris Mays, well, he was barely touched in there in any regard, to be honest. 10-3, the Tigers with the tail right up. Great work off the back of the line out. After the turn, what do you do if you're the Scottish team? Well, you go straight to work. That's what Craig Hammond would say. And they did. Hammering away at the line. Mike Green, what's he doing in there? He's a midfield back. Good early pressure straight off the bell for Scottish, ends a penalty, and the surgeon, Gregor McNeish, cuts them off just a little bit, brings it back to 4 points. Only minutes later, it is Scottish back on the attack, and inside the Tigers half, early penalty earned. It's offside there, the Tigers, aggressive defence, running the borderline really between aggressive and penalised, and it's the later they got. Greg McNeish, what's just going on here? Who kicked that? The man's got a donkey leg. The Tigers, though, they're cool, calm and collected a lot at the moment, and they didn't mind a few points coming down the spout, particularly when you've got some possession and you've got some territory and you've got a line out working like this. Look at the confidence of the ball. At the back, you see the ball. Sprigg playing peekaboo. They roll a couple off the top. Thank you and goodbye. You can't hold the Tiger. Not by the tail. And that's 5 points to take him out to 15-9. Josh Henderson says, you know what? That was worth more than 5. Make it 7. 17-9. Great stuff. A little bit of nip and tuck between Henderson's kick and the end of the match as a late attack from the Scottish. Let them get in line for, well, to stay in touch, stay in contact, and more importantly, get themselves a bonus point after finishing within 6. And Greg McLeish really went above and beyond the call for his team. He kept them within distance for a precious point. And that's all you can ask from the fly half. So a stirring win to the Borelli Walsh USRC Tigers over a nomadic and at the moment seemingly hapless Blueberg Hong Kong Scottish. Here's what man of the match Josh Henderson had to say.
Rugby's a team game, and I think you can see today how dominant our forwards were again. Like, they were absolutely outstanding. That driving maul of ours on the scrum's real potent, and it's great to play that off the back of. As well, I've got outside me a lot of good talking backs, and they give me a lot of nice options, and really is credit to them, to be honest.
Fly half Josh Henderson, and well, gee, he's looking pretty sweet there in the pocket for the Tigers, and he should be feeling pretty sweet in the pocket for the Tigers because those guys have come together and made one for him. Now, listen, there's been plenty said about the Tigers in the past. And yes, it's been some time since they've won in the Premiership, and 2 wins don't really make up a history, but they're significant wins. It looks as if, to me, this Tiger team has actually started to swing the boat around. Sure, it's been 1 degree at a time, but it's starting to turn. Sam Hocking is definitely starting to have the kind of effect you'd like to see, and he's been backed up in the back office by some pretty good purchasing power to go out and get some players who have made a difference. Henderson being one of them, Spriggs clearly another, but then he's got the old heads in there with Jamie Chipman and Josh Hurstich, the kind of guys you want to stick around because, well, they must believe in what's going on. And what's going on is they're starting to get wins on the park. Yeah, they were pretty close in the first 3. They came out ripping after this one. There's 3 more wins for this Tigers team. I'm not going to say they'll go all the way to the GC final, but they will upset some apple carts on the way through to round number 10. It is as simple as that. Scottish, on the other hand, do they need to go back to the drawing board? They need to spruce it up. They need to freshen up. They need to maybe have a look at what someone like the Tigers are doing and start moving in that direction. I'm not telling Craig Hammond how to do his job. He's the national coach. Time now to get down there to the stables and be with the one and only Grant Beuzeval. Booze up.
Morning, Jed. How are you? Hello, viewers. Good weekend.
Very good weekend and some real action. We are now at that point in the show that I've been absolutely salivating for. After 2 fairly tasty games of rugby union, we get to the main event. Yes, we get to the real deal. The cheese, the beans, the full filling, I like to call it. And Boozer, you must have been amped up for this.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you got to get amped up for the local derbies, you know, football club against us from Valley. Very exciting week building up into that. And top of the table clash as well. So it sure was game of the week, both literally and also actually on the ground. It was, as you'll see, it went down to the wire and a real classic ding dong. It was good to be part of, good to call, actually, a lot of fun.
And as you would expect, we're off when the gun goes with these 2 teams. It seems Boozer, the world blows apart.
Yeah, it was a great start by football club. You know, really showed their hand quite early, laid down a marker with this rolling maul off Rosley's kick, which is only about a metre too long. And look at the power there. They trucked that up about 20, 30 metres and win a penalty straight away. And that was a bit of a pattern for the first about 12 minutes. Penalty, 6 penalties in the first 12 minutes. And football club just able to apply the blowtorch straight off through Valley's indiscretions. Some of them I thought were real tough, but Matt Rodden was right to sort of stamp his mark on this game. And football club, well, they're just run of the territory. I think I was sitting next to Mark Carter. About 95% possession and territory in the first 10 minutes. And there you see Russ Webb unlucky not to get a bounce there. and showing everything early. It was great seeing Russ Webb and some of the other Sevens boys back, and we're underway.
The defence, Boozer, of Valley in these opening moments, absolutely rock solid. I mean, it takes a hell of a defence, and the red and black machine is absolutely revving on defence.
Yeah, I think we're seeing big defences right across the Premiership, but yeah, we're proud of that defensive performance. And in the end, you know, we only let in the one try for the whole game, which is testament to that defence. It comes up fast, comes up arced out, and you'll see throughout this match big hits coming in from big men who have no right to be out there on the edges. And I'm talking about Ben Higgins and Tau Kolomatangi. You watch the rest of the clips we're going to watch today. They are in literally everything. You'll see Tau there just off the ruck there with Sean Bennett. Good to have Sean Bennett back as well. Big defence on the day, but Football Club, yeah, they threw everything at us. We went side to side, and it's just a matter of time almost until the penalty comes, and Mitch Purvis nearly takes Andrew Farley's head off there with a kick off the ground. But back we come for yet another penalty, and this time first points for Glyn Hughes, first of all the points he's going to get today, and well, we'll see how it ends, but the man had a great match after not scoring any points the previous week. In 50-something appearances, he had not once been off the score sheet, so he had a point to prove, and, well, he proved it.
Yeah, I mean, it's an embarrassment of riches in terms of possession and territory, so getting some points is the key, but it's not really that many points considering how much they've put on. So, I mean, obviously you'd feel buoyed at this early stage in the game. What am I trying to say? I don't know.
Well, let me help you finish that sentence. Yeah, 6 penalties, first 12 minutes. They shorted up a bit, Valley, and conceded only 4 for the rest of the game. So the message got out there. From the kickoff again, look at this from club, and it's the young men again. It's Russ Webb, it's Liam Herbert. Look at the rubber man go right up to halfway. He gets smashed there in the end by Max Woodward, who didn't last much of the game. The arms out again. And that's probably just reward for, you know, be willing to attack from your own 22. And again, we see Rafe Morrison, we see Max Denmark. How good seeing these young Sevens players. There's Rafe inside ball to, I think it's McCulloch, and they sweep down the field, and really was beautiful rugby, you know. And Valley is still making their tackles, but backpedaling. You know, nothing wrong with the defence, just really bold stuff. And I think maybe Football Club inspired perhaps by Scottish last week, who really put Valley to the sword early down the edges, scoring 3 tries in 20 minutes. So there was a bit of a pattern there. Anyway, penalty time again, and Glyn Hughes right down the middle over into the Sportsman's Bar, which is starting to heave by now. 6-0 after 8 minutes. And well, it could have been a lot worse, I suppose, but the game was just really starting to cook at that point.
Jack Wiggins just been looking on one hand, pretty happy with the way things are going. On the other hand, you can basically count all the points he's got on one hand. The club they needed more than that, surely.
I'm not sure if you've seen Jack Wiggins' hands. He hasn't got 6 fingers on one hand. Here's Herbert again. He was one of the standout backs out on the wing. And I know they're missing guys like Tom Hill and Nate Deteri as well. Those are big guns to come back, but there was a good bit of impetus from the youngsters. And here goes Callum Smith, who I was really impressed with the loose head prop. The props all around. There's Ben Higgins making a big covering tackle there under his post. And who's there with him? Tau Kolomatangi. So the 2 looses. And look at the hands here from Tau. Gets the wide ball out to Beatty, who gets smashed by Denmark. But again, good flowing play. They've broken Valley down the middle, and good interplay between forwards and backs. But again, I think the number ones from both sides were just amazing. And the front rows, along with Kolomatangi, they were just sensational, at least for 60 minutes of this game.
In what sense, Booze, did you think this sort of just, it seemed like a buffet breakfast for a club? At which point did it really start to sort of slip into a more even keel for Valley?
Well, we get right into here. We are in the 24th minute even, and Jonah's a rare line-out target there for Diwa, and they try and set something up in midfield. The line-out for Valley once again, it was good in the first half. We force a penalty here, but Ruan goes quick and smokes Jamie Lauder, and that was a miracle ball inside to Rosley. And finally, look who's here out on the wing. Hello, it's number 1 and 3 again. Goodness me, but it's a great tackle by Denmark to pull Tow Truck down. They couldn't stop the wave. Chris Allman comes in and pops it up to Jonah for his second try for Valley. And that was really encouraging, really inspirational bit of play for Valley, encouraging for Fats and crew. And have a look just once again here, the big levers of Allman up off the ground. There's Jonah, good number 7 play. And that really excited me personally, that style of play, props out wide, interchanging, interlinking, and quick ball, that was key. And I think that's really going to start to be something we develop at Valley over the next few rounds.
Close to the half, Grant. I know that there's an adage that you can score before and after a half and pretty much close a game out. A score before the half here by Football Club, where was it putting you on a mental scale?
Yeah, look, coming into these final few moments, you felt like something was about to break. This is about the 10th phase we're looking at here, as Valley defend hard against a never-ending wave of club sort of forward approaches, and then eventually they decide that that's not going to work. They'd done the damage up the inside channels, they'd sucked in all the defenders, and then up steps the Kerry Hotel's man of the match to basically put Football Club ahead at half-time, and you couldn't argue that they were deserved of a half-time lead. And there's Hughes, he absolutely sells it to Fidia, who's sprawled on the ground and he slaps the ground. He's not happy. There's no one of those ones you look around, there's no one else to sort of point the finger at. But well done, Glenn Hughes. He nails the conversion. They go into half-time up by 13 points to 7, and you got to say, fair reflection of that first half, an exciting first half, and it felt like it was really going to blow up in the second 40.
I'll put this argument to you now, Grant. I've been a proponent of it in the past. There's nothing in the rule book that says you have to finish a game the way the game was finished. Was this really the winning of the game for Club?
No, not at all. Valley came back and had plenty of opportunities to win this game. I think there's only one missed kick at goal in the second half, maybe by each side. So it was intense. But what I think we found is the game was really being played in the middle of the field for a lot of the time, between the 15s and inside the 22s. And either team still was unable to really build up a lot of pressure in the 22. Both teams were struggling to do that. And the team that does that is obviously going to score eventually. You saw it there from Club. They put together 10 or 12 phases and they're stretched out wide and Hughes over for the try. I haven't seen a lot of that. Well, I haven't, from Valley in the first 4 rounds and our opponents, that ability to build that pressure, show patience. But I think that's also a testament of defences in these early stages. You know, into round 4, defences are working really hard. Attack is still coming online, I reckon. Round 2 is where we're going to see more tries.
Okay, mate, back after the break. We've hit the turn. We've come through. It's a second 40. It's a game of 2 halves. We're off.
There's a game of 2 halves. But this one, not really. Okay, so it wasn't like one team dominated each half. It was certainly a game of 2 halves, as the law requires. Here come Valley from outside their own 22, and a trademark sort of run from Jonah, who probably didn't get away as much as he'd like to have. This is a really good kick chase. Rosley, I thought, had an outstanding game. He was solid at 10. He played pivot well at back. Here you see the Herbert and Russ Webb. Look at who makes the tackle. Colin Matangi in midfield. What a chase from the big man. And there's Diwa following up. And there's Higgins. The front row have chased that and led the chase and forced the turnover. Rosley, though, unable to convert. Probably on the edge of his range. He's tried to give that a bit of a welly just to the left. And, well, what a difference that 3 points would have made in the end. But Glenn Hughes missed one as well. So second half underway, and it set the tone for the next 40 minutes.
Not uncommon for front rowers to lead the charge, Beuzeval. I'll just give you the tip. We are special human beings.
Yeah, well, that may be, Jed, but I know that you're a midfielder, not a prop. That's just something that happened to you later in life, like a lot of props.
Look, there's been a lot of good defence. Clubs had some of the best of it. Valley, where did you go? What did you do? What do you think is the way through this club outfit?
Oh, it's easy in hindsight. Maybe, look, I don't know. I know we're trying to play a new game plan. But 62 kicks out of the hand in this game, quite shocking, alarming figures, in fact. Both teams playing for territory, Hughes and Rosley out kicking each other. But here come Valley again. They just struggling to break through. Rosley around the outside. Allman gets the big levers going. Good continuity here. But again, it's only a few phases. It's not enough. It gets back to the far side. Martin Muller goes in hard. Chapman hits him hard. More big defence from the tidies. Kolomatangi. Higgins is the next man off the rank. The running meters and the tackles by the tidies, incredible. And Tau went 70 minutes. Higgins went 60. And so did Keelan, Chapman, and Callum White as well. But look at this on Karl Marx. Maybe didn't have enough respect for the young Sevens player, Liam Herbert, who absolutely smashes the South African into the racks there. He had the ball in the right hand to flick it inside to Farley, but didn't. So really good defence out wide through the middle from both sides. It really inseparable on the day.
Yes, a massive tackle, wasn't it? What a huge hit. Speaking of things you don't really want to remember, Glenn Hughes did kick a shocker in this game. It was a terrible one. You kind of want to forget things like that, but this is why TV shows like that exist, so we can laugh about it. But there's no laughing matter. This game is going right to the wire, Boozer.
Well, look, put that miss down to the Valley bench, and as a commentator, I deliberately put the hex on him, saying there's no way he would miss that one, and Cooke thought that was hilarious. You wouldn't be goated, though. So a rare miss from Hughes, but they get the ball back straight away and put the heat back on Valley. Still just the 6 points in it, where the clock's ticking away here, 13 minutes gone, and it's just a matter of time before they set up. A little unfortunate there for Club with the crossing. It could have gone either way, but Russ Webb was through, right? And they really didn't look like scoring a try in that second half. That was one of their few times.
The tension builds in this game, as it must, because of the way it ends, and Valley plays its part to an absolute treat.
Yeah, you could tell it was going to come down to the wire, and they finally get down into an attacking position. 63-minute mark. Dubois hits Marks. They started hitting Marks because it started to falter in the middle, and maybe Muller was being out sort of marked. So Marks took 4 in a row. He goes forward. They shift it back to Luke Dubois, and he's in for his second try for his new club. And this beautiful camera work from our sideline cam. You see Dubois got it. You see Rosley come around, give Rodden a shove, get out the road. Deploy's in there, who had gone to the wing at this point because Adam Ralston was on, and such is the lack of available backs. But finally, they get in front, and the kick goes over. It's 14-13 with about 15 to go. Salivating at this point.
The scene is set. This is it. This is the dusty street. This is the showdown. This is the tumbleweed. This is people piling into the saloon for safety. I'm starting to tremble, Boozer.
Yeah, this is Alice Park 1995, Joel Stransky stuff.
Oh, no.
Look at the clock. We're in the final minute, and Club know they've got to get in position, and they throw the kitchen sink at Valley. Ben Axton-Barrett, solid all game. Another good run from him. You can feel they're trying to work something out of Rodden. They reckon that they can get enough phases together, the arm might go out. So that's their first option. They put in wave after wave, and the Reds keep coming at them, expecting Hughes to drop back to the pocket. It may not have been Alice Park World Cup final, but they always feel like finals against football club. They always feel like a knockout game. And here it is. The Welshman gets back into the pocket. He's looking for his full house. He's got the try, the conversion, the penalty. It's a shonky old attempt. He's got about 3 or 4 red shirts on him, but it's good enough to get the 3. And look at him. It is like he's won the 1995 World Cup final. And look at this guy coming through now. Yeah, beauty. He's absolutely pumped. It feels like a big win. It's only round 4, but it does put a buffer now between club and the rest of the pack, and Valley gets swallowed up a bit by the pursuing peloton.
Yes, utter scenes of delirium at the Hong Kong Football Club. Time now to go pitch side first. Let's hear from Kerry Hotel, man of the match, Glenn Hughes.
We talk about that just staying in the game and being hard to beat, and to be fair, like that was from where we've been the first 3 games. That we're probably up there in terms of 80 minutes, but we were nowhere near our best still, and it's just about getting those W's, and somehow we got there again. So
I just want to say big thanks to my boys. We bounced back. We had a good week's training. We went into the game with lots of confidence again and energised, and our defence was awesome. So yeah, we've just got to take the learnings, I guess, and get the training next week and get better.
Final comments there by a somewhat depleted and tired-looking Ruan Deploy, having played halfback and wing, and my word, he puts in some big yards, that man. Boozer, what do you say? What can you say after a game like that?
Well, you start off with a full credit, to Ruan and his team, and also to Glenn Hughes, the man of the match, carried out as man of the match, and to Football Club for a great win. So the ball was in play in the end, 40 minutes, which was impressive. Wasn't the highest. I think the Sandy Bay game, the ball was in play longer, but that's pretty big by any measurement, 40 plus. Usually internationals are 35. Ball kicked out of the hand 62 times, 30 lineouts, and about 25 scrums. And it was the game of the week for a reason. Only 30 points in it. It was the lowest scoring match of the round, but it was extremely entertainment. And with my commentator hat on, it was a lot of fun to be part of. With my Valley hat on, it hurt. But there's no red flags at Valley. There's a new style from Fats, and there'll be no red flags at Football Club. They've each got 3 big names at least. You're looking at Nate Terry, you got Jevon Groves out, but Tommy Hill. Valley, you got Taru Senga, you got Lennox, you got Laverick. Okay, so there's some big names still out to come back. Both teams will be reasonably happy where they are right now. And there's a peloton behind, and now in front, Sandy Bay goes up to second, which is cool. That's great for Sandy Bay. And I'm really juiced about the remaining round. Next week, we go to Aberdeen, play on the grass against Sandy Bay, and then into the second round. I'm really juiced around that second round. I think we're going to see each club starting to realise their ambitions.
Grab a chair and come to the table, ladies and gentlemen, as we check out the standings after 4 rounds. And right there down towards the bottom, they look lonely, but they're not. It's Kowloon on 6, just above them. The guys who must be wondering if they could maybe have their birthday next year, Bloomberg Hong Kong Scottish in their 10th year, sitting towards the back end of the table also with only the 1 win. The Tigers, the Tigers. They lift themselves to 8 after 2 wins, no bonus points. They're doing it the hard way, the men in amber and black. The men in red and black, however, moved to 3rd. They take a drop, and it would not have been a drop, felt right around the island on Saturday night. Played for 1-2, lost 2. But they've got those bonus points, and they're like magic beans, aren't they? On 9 championship points, Valley sit above them. HKU Sandy Bay. Well, without any known radios being broken by Brett Wilkinson, this is some sort of effort by the men from Sandy Bay. 10 points they have, 2 bonus points, and 2 wins. I know, I'm not very good at maths either. Somehow, Sandy Bay now sits second, proudly. But they all line up and they look down the road and they can see one team and one team only as they head up the mountain. It is the Texas Club. They've played for, they've won for, they've dominated the opening stanza of this 2020-21 Saxo Markets Men's Premiership. And there they are, with 1 bonus point on 17. Time now, ladies and gentlemen, come with me on the 5 things that I've found out about the Saxo Premiership this week. Number 1, conversion's the key. When you've had more ball, more territory, more penalties, you should have more points, unless you're playing someone like New Zealand or maybe South Africa. Kowloon needs to remember that if you're going to play so much of the rugby, Kowloon, win the game, convert. Number 2, thank you for round 4. The rugby gods have been kind to all of us. And it took 3 rounds to set round 4 up, but when it arrived quietly, it almost snuck up on us. And it has been the best round yet. The way things are going in the Premiership, by the time we get to round 7, we'll need Christmas and New Year just for a bit of a break. Number 3, the Hong Kong Rugby Union TV app. Yes, this is a shameless plug, but this is also a way of the future. Yeah, download it, get your phone, get your device, and you can watch it there in your hand, or you can stream it up to the wall. If you don't know how, this might be a good way to talk to your grandkids. Number 4, one for the ref. Oh, you won't hear me do this very often, but 2 young refs deserve a pat on the back. Morgan White and Rory Crombie. These 2 young men from the Hong Kong Rugby Union, or the Hong Kong Referees Association, have come into senior rugby and have done a very, very fine job. Congratulations. Number 5, a perfect 10. Now, a very smart man said there's no such thing as the perfect 10. But there's some pretty good fly halves running around Hong Kong. I think I make my point pretty clearly. On the weekend, Harry Johnston, Josh Henderson, 2 times now, player of the week for his team. Gregor McNeish might have lost, but man on the front foot, the guy's a flyer. And of course, Glenn Hughes, who against Kowloon wasn't looking so flash, but after Valley, he was Champagne Charlie. Yes, there may not be a perfect 10, but there's some pretty close perfect first 5s in the Saxo. Time now for Richard Cooke to come back from the kitchen. Cookie, as we take a quick look over the next 3 games, and 3 important games as they are. Let's talk about it. At Aberdeen, to the grand old lady, Sandy Bay v Valley.
Well, what can I say about this? With Sandy Bay, good win against Kowloon. Valley, maybe a bit of a wobble, few injuries. They've lost 2 on the bounce, so they'll be coming back hard. I think it's going to be a really, really tight one down there at Fortress Aberdeen, as they like to call it. It's a club day for Sandy Bay. Got all the sides down there, so it could be Sandy Bay in a very, very tight one. But I don't think there'll be more than the fag paper between them.
Next game, and they've been performing well. The Tigers. It's been a pleasure to watch, and now they go up against Kowloon. It is the battle of the car park, isn't it, really, when these 2 outfits get together? Your thoughts and comments? Could it be 3 for the Tigers?
Well, they're on a win streak. It's not exactly Cal Ripken Jr. yet, but the Tigers 2 from the last 2, and Kowloon going down in 2 tight ones. Again, I don't think there's going to be too much between these sides, but I think Tigers probably just edge it and get that win streak out to 3.
Richard, the 3rd and final game is a game between Bloomberg Hong Kong Scottish and the Texas Club. Now, if I might pick it, I think the Scottish will grow a 3rd leg and give them a hell of a game, but go down bravely.
I think you could be right. There's no doubt that Scottish are the enigma this year. Valley, they win 1 week and then they go and lose to Tigers at Sokompo this week just gone. So who knows what side is going to turn up. They're acting very French at the moment, not exactly Scottish. So as you say, I think Club probably go into the halfway break 5 from 5. But I think Scottish will give them a run.
One more time for those in the back. It is the Saxo Markets Men's Premiership. The Borelli Walsh USRC Tigers taking on DAC Kowloon. It's the battle of the car park there at Kings Park. Game of the week comes live and proud from Fortress Aberdeen as Herbert Smith, Freehills, HKU, Sandy Bay look for another name and try and find another win against Society Generale Valley. It's going to be a big one on the grass down there at Aberdeen. Game number 3, there they are, Bloomberg Hong Kong Scottish taking on Club. Is it a case of Jekyll and Hyde for Bloomberg Hong Kong Scottish? We will find out. Ladies and gentlemen, there you are. You've been rebooted. Enjoy your rugby this week. This is Jedi out. Thanks for watching.